As a young man in my 20s, fresh out of high school, new married, right out of high school, with my high school sweetheart, had a little boy, 5 years old. I kind of thought I had everything going my way. I had come from a family of hard works. We had raised in deep West Texas on a ranch, and kind of controlled everything that we did. We thought we believed in God. We very seldom worked on Sunday. We respected the Lord's day and loved Him with all of our hearts and all of our soul and all of our mind as far as the Sunday goes, and the respect for that. And we worked hard, thinking that I thought, there was going to come that day and I was going to die, and I was going to stand before God, and I was just going to say, hey, look, here's Lord, this is what I've accomplished in my life. Here's the Ponderosa. And in my early 20s, I was taking care of a farm for my family and a ranch, and got into farming on my own, and basically lost control. I thought it was stupid, drank and all that kind of stuff when I was in high school. My wife's family had experienced the alcohol thing, and so anyhow, I working 7 days a week as I got into farming on my own personal business, and as that started to fail me, I started going with the boys to have a cold one on the afternoon, escaping, basically out of what my works were failing me at. And I found myself later in the day and not going home at night till late, and it kind of really hurt my wife, and my wife was like giving up on me, and saw how my works were failing me, and so she struck out looking for a church. We had a little boy that's 5 years old, and she wanted him to learn the ways that were different than our ways, and she started looking for a church. We were unchurched folks, and she just started going to different churches, and I told her, I said, she kept asking me, "Well, you want to go with me on Sunday?" And I was like, "No, babe, I don't really need to go plow the back 40 or whatever, And so then she started going to church, and she was getting on me pretty hard for being stupid. And she was just, we were on a short fuse. We're on a real short fuse. And she started going to different churches, and she went into one church, and she was kind of grading it by what she read in the hymnal. And this little church and the hymnal talked about how saved by grace, and how what John Wesley had done, and how God had affected him and changed his life. And so she started going to this little Methodist church, Cameron, Texas, and she kept asking me to go with her, and it was this time of year, and that's the reason I'm really excited about giving this testimony, that I knew there was Easter and the Easter bunny, and I was the best in the family at hiding the Easter basket and hiding my nest and finding my eggs on Easter morning, and the culture of Easter, but didn't really realize what it was all about in the resurrection of Christ. And so I started going with her. Finally, my work failed me to the point that I went with her to church and saw the truth and heard the truth of the gospel and Jesus and what He did for me. And Easter 1976, I got saved. He immediately transformed our lives, and Let me back up just a little bit. I noticed that there was a huge change in my wife. She started loving me even when I was unlovable, and that's what drew me in. It's just loving the unlovable, and she loved me, and that drew me in. The love of Christ drew me in because she had in turn been saved before me, and she knew what God could do in her husband's life, and wow, it's been all these years, 41 years now, that we've lived and breathed and hungered and thirsted for His righteousness and wanted to know more. I just need to know more. With my 10 grandchildren now, and my 4 children that Vic and I have reared in the love of Christ, and I just thank you for the opportunity to listen to a song, be encouraged by a song that talks about. And then I got saved, and I'm saved today. Happy resurrection.